Oh, yeah. Welcome to Title 24, presented by NBC Sports. RV, I'm back in studio. Thank goodness. Looking forward to today's podcast. Looking forward to being back in my little makeup studio for weeks to come now. It's been a wild ride. I was telling one of our producers, it's just like how my travel has fallen this summer. It's been all over the place, but sadly enough, a lot of the fun non-work trips are over for a while. I have a couple stranded out in the next couple months, but nothing crazy that's going to keep me out of getting to cut some fun stuff with you. But thank you, Boxo USA, Quadlock, Dunlop, and United Motorsports. You guys are awesome, and appreciate you enjoying the ride. RV, you were back at Bud's Creek. Tell us about what that was as a Yamaha event, but you hadn't been there in a while.
Yep, haven't been back to Bud's Creek since I retired. It was really good to go back to, I think, one of my favorite places to race, which was Bud's Creek. Everybody remembers 2007 MXON, great race for Team USA, myself, you, Ricky. It was actually one of your last races. So
it was,
I wasn't used to the heat like I was back in the day when I was a real athlete. So hot, humid, but track was amazing. Track was good. The Yamaha Blue Crew event went off without a hitch. So grateful to be able to go back for sure.
Yeah, what was the track similar, like the layout compared to what it was what was your last year there that you raced? 13?
I think that would have been 13. Yeah. So track was pretty similar. They don't have any, they have a couple little pro sections, more the technical stuff that slows it down that they had pulled out of it. But other than relatively, the track is very similar to when we raced. And like I said, hadn't been back, but man, the dirt's phenomenal. We had some rain on Friday. It was a little bit sloppy on Friday for our training stuff, but Saturday, Sunday, it turned out to be super, super good.
Sweet. So back now, what do you got? We were talking before the show. You're not going to Washougal this weekend?
No Washougal this weekend. As you guys can see, I'm up in my trophy room now, and I'm actually heading to Washington on Sunday with my truck and trailer to go get more of my memorabilia and trophies and things like that. So just like yourself, Ricky, man, I feel like I've been wide open all summer, just trying to fit in the weekly stuff amongst all of the travel. So, but it's been good. It's been fun.
Well, I got to say you done an awesome job hosting the show, excuse me. And then definitely a huge shout out to Davey Coombs, DC. Appreciate it. Thanks for subbing and supporting RV. You guys did a killer job. I was able to listen to you guys obviously when you're recording, and then listened back to the pod. So good job, great insight. And Spring Creek. So it was an interesting weekend. I was able to watch all of the races on Peacock. Because being remote, I couldn't watch on NBC, but Peacock was tuned in, and 450s started first. Reason that is because it was on NBC, the big network. So that's always a great opportunity to catch new eyeballs for sure. And I don't know that there was any surprises. At least there wasn't for me. RV in the 450, but the Boxo breakdown, just jumping right into it with Chase Sexton. We have some video. This is Moto 1, just coming through the pack. He didn't have a bad start or anything like there, so it's relatively easy. He didn't have too much ground to gain. And from your perspective, surprise, not a surprise, what you expected, what's your thoughts on Moto 1?
Well, I think, Hunter was riding very well. Chase seemed like he was on another level here at Spring Creek. It wasn't substantially. It wasn't like he was substantially faster, but it was just a little bit everywhere. It definitely, I will say, I think I saw a quote or something from Chase that said those were some of the toughest, gnarliest, biggest sand rollers, sandy rollers that I personally, that's what I think from watching it on TV and seeing how big the Millville sand whoops were. They were technical. You really had to, find a rhythm through those things. And Chase was able to get that triple in the middle, which was substantially faster. They were a little too big, in my opinion, to try to wheelie and put your front wheel on top of every one of them. Yes, you could do it, but just your overall speed was down a little bit from
Yeah.
watching Chase being able to, kind of lob the front wheel across the first 3 or 4 and then find that pocket to go triple. And I think that's basically where he didn't make the pass, but he set up his pass on Hunter by being able to get that triple midsection there.
Yeah, the sand, absolutely what you're saying is like the sand looked really heavy and they couldn't, like that bike had a lot of resistance. And like what you were saying is hard. It seemed like it was hard for a lot of the riders to get a good run going and stay on top. And definitely Sexton had that point, that shot figured out, that spot figured out for sure. One thing I really noticed, and I've noticed it for a while now, RV, especially, it's been more apparent to me in the Motocross series as it was to Supercross. But when I watch his bike compared to last year, maybe it's the ergonomics of the Honda versus the KTM, but it just looks like his bike has more balance to me, and it's nice and level. Like the front end's not too low, the back end's not too low, or vice versa, one end being high or one being low. And I like the balance, the way the bike has the balance looks on Sexton. Have you noticed that at all?
Yeah, like you said, completely different chassis, motorcycles, but yeah, I think they're really fine. I think helping Chase find his happy place with that motorcycle, and I also do think too, Chase is a confidence rider. And why I say that, I'm not saying he's riding any better than when Jet was racing, but I will say that when Jet being absent, I think is really putting Chase under a magnifying glass, and he doesn't have that pressure of trying to race Jet or beat Jet, right? I think we're seeing some of the best that Chase has rode all year. Yes, I know Hangtown. I know he's had some good races, but he's won 5 races in a row so far. What I personally think is what we need to see is what we see of Chase right now, the consistency, the speed, where he's, his mental game. That's what he needs to bring when Jet's on the line. I think Jet potentially gets in his head a little bit, not in any playing games in any way, just racing against Jet and a guy like that, it makes you start to second guess yourself. I think when he lines up with these guys that are currently on the line with Jet being absent, he's not second guessing who he is and the speed he needs to go and the way he needs to ride. I think Jet puts him on his heels a little bit. And if he can, really figure this out for next year or when Jet gets back, I think we have, could potentially see some really good battles in the future. As Chase gets, more comfortable, they get the settings on that KTM better. We might see something, some really good racing here in the future if Chase can bring what he has currently when Jet's on the line.
Yeah, it brought me back what you just were talking about, and I think about, like, I don't want to speak for your day, and you can comment, but if Dunge was out, or like for me, if Chad was out, or Bubs was out, you still have that mental focus, and you're still riding to the best of your ability. But having those main beat players in there definitely changes the dynamic, and that's not disrespectful to the rest of the guys out there. But I think if everyone's being honest, RV, I think having Jet in there changes the complexity of what this championship, what it looks like.
Yep.
Like Chase has a buffer. He's riding well. The bike looks great. I love what I'm seeing from him. And I agree with you. Like, whatever he's doing now, that confidence that he has, if he can somehow have that confidence, and I feel like he does have that confidence, but rise to the occasion and beat Jet time and time again. That's what I would like to see from him. And that's what I'm always hoping that he can do, because at the end of the day, if he's able to do that, it's just the racing's going to be exceptional. Can you believe it? Just like every single moto, it's like not just going to be the same guy. And I think it's great for the sport, and it'd be great for him, I think, mentally. But make no mistake about it, like what you said, it is different when you don't have that main guy in there, and it's really hard to explain, but it's just different. It's different.
I agree. You go to the line with a little bit different of a mentality. It's not. I think there's less questions in your head when you line up when somebody like Jet is absent. And I'll use myself and Dunge. I'll go back and we can put use Chase and Jet
Mhm.
And when myself and Dunge, like what I see, we'll use Chase and Dunge being who they were, link them together and link me and Jet together. Like,
Yep.
where I think Chase needs to also get better and really start shining is, if you're not as fast as Jet, but you can put the pressure on for both motos every single weekend and week out. And maybe Jet is still better, but just like Dunge, he won a lot of races against me. He was like the diesel, right? Like he kept me on my toes. I think Chase needs to keep Jet on his toes, and keep that pressure on, even if he's not winning those races. Like as a racer, I can always remember, like, going to, even if I went 1-1 the weekend before, going into the next weekend, whatever race that was, you always got that in the back of your head. Like Dunge, he's always there. He's within 3 to 5 seconds. One little mistake, he's going to be all over you, or one little tip over, he's going to pass you. So I think putting that pressure on Jet, Chase putting that pressure on Jet is also where he needs to improve.
Yep. Everyone listening to this podcast, what RV watching or listening to this podcast, what RV just said right there, rings so true, and he's 100% on point. And I feel like, I think that Chase is in the driver's seat for this championship because he does have a little bit of buffer. He has some wiggle room now, where when Jet was there, he had to do exactly what RV is telling us. He has to be on. He can't slip. He's got to have good starts. He can't make mistakes, and he has to be there every single weekend. And if he's not going to beat guys like Jet Lawrence, Eli Tomac, whether it was you, whether it was me. You just have to be there every weekend. You can't have any slip ups. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. Heard Tomac might come back. That would be awesome if he came back. Throw a little mix in there. That could be a great opportunity for a guy like Hunter. I like what Hunter's doing. Like you talked about, doing the same thing over and over and really like having to pressure your components. Dude, I think that Hunter's doing a great job. I don't think it's enough, but I think he's doing everything in his power that he could be doing. He's getting good starts. He's running up front, and he's making Chase have to perform in, and he's putting himself in great positions by getting those good starts. And if you're Hunter, other than just straight up trying to be faster, I don't know what else that you can really ask from yourself as a racer, dude.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I think he's, look, and Chase is no rookie. We have Hunter as technically a rookie in this 450 class, first outdoor season. So, if you just look at, up to about the, 12 to 15 minute mark, Hunter was riding well. You could say, I wouldn't go, say it's a fitness issue, but I would say, if Hunter, and we've both said it on the show multiple times, like his trajectory is a little flatter than Jet's was, or maybe Chase's, right? So he's still building, and I feel like the strength, if we, next year of what we see for outdoors and Hunter, like the strength will be more. He should be a little more fitter. He'll understand the class a little bit more. Not that he doesn't already, but just getting a season under your belt helps a ton. So I think Hunter's trajectory and where he's going and how they are proceeding about the race series. Yes, has he won some races? Yes, is he in the championship contending spot? Yes, he is. I don't know if it's enough. Especially like we just talked about, Chase with Jet being gone, and then Chase's mentality and mental side of where he's at right now and his strength. I think Chase is in the driver's seat for sure, but Hunter's riding very well.
He is. I mean, listen, and I feel like that's a tough situation, tough spot for Hunter to be in. And I've said it. I said it on the NBC show. I've said it here on Title 24. RV is just like, I like his mindset. I like how pragmatic he is, and he's just very to the point. I'm gonna go out, do my best, and if I get beat, I get beat. Obviously, he's not saying that verbatim, but dude, I feel like he's doing as much as possible and he's not slipping up very much with outside of his massive mistake at Redbud. He's doing a fantastic job, especially being his rookie season in the 450. I know a lot of people, there's some critics saying that.
I know,
Do
but
what?
we forget about
Yeah.
the the rookies 450 season, like, I don't hear it on the broadcast very often, like rookie. We can kind of consider him as, consider him not a rookie, but technically he is. So there's a lot to learn, and just what you get out of it, of a whole season in the 450 class. And then when you move to the season 2, and get that first season under your belt, there's a lot to be said about that. And it may not even be like, how much did you learn? It's just, what to expect now.
Yeah. Couple notables. I like the speed that AP had this past weekend, running really strong in the motos, especially that first one. My service had cut out when he was right on the tail of Hunter. And this is when Chase was in third, and then it went out, and then I got back in, and then Chase is like right on AP. But love seeing AP do well. Love seeing Anderson having good times, having some speed, just kind of like in a crappy area there, just some bad luck, if you will. But I think that he was riding better than what his results showed for. And then, of course, Justin Cooper, still a lot of racing left for these guys for sure. But I think all of them have had some promising rides, especially J Coop, another podium. Dude, the guy is riding well, and another rookie.
Yeah,
Doing
exactly.
well.
Yeah. And just puts himself in good positions off, is one of the best starters, I think, in that 450 class. So, like like I said, what's to come for next year once these guys get a season under their belt. Justin Cooper has probably been the biggest surprise to me. The consistency, the starts, a lot of his finishes, not all of them, but a lot of his finishes. I honestly wasn't expecting that of him. So, it's really good to see. And like I said, what's to come for next year.
Yeah. Justin Cooper, like, one thing I feel like he has a massive advantage of, especially if he's using the scoop on the start, is he's what is known as one of the fastest bikes for sure in the 450 class. That YZF 450 is fast, like from a horsepower standpoint for sure. And Justin's pretty light as well. So that's, dude, with just those two combinations, I feel like that certainly helps his situation. And not only outside of how he rides a motorcycle, I think he's very precise and doesn't override it. I think it complements everything that a 450 does, especially that Yamaha 450. He's got a lot of things going for him. So I don't think this is the end of what we're going to see from him on a 450. Now, if you're going to Washougal and you talk about all the guys that we just talked about, RV, do you see anybody that might have a better chance or an advantage compared to the other tracks that they've raced at going into this weekend?
I don't know, man. Washougal's, as you know, very unique track, from the shadows, from the dirt. Honestly, I think I'm gonna lean on Chase for Washougal. Obviously, if he, the big question is if he gets off the line, but I still just think with the consistency of the dirt being being a very clay base, it seems like from some old footage and stuff that I've seen of Chase, riding and where he grew up, we know he likes ruts. Not necessarily that Washougal gets very ruddy. It can, depending on how they prep the track, but I have a feeling Chase is gonna shine at Washougal, for whatever reason. So it's gonna be very interesting to see who can hold a candle to him and how close it is. Coming in this, he's getting off of 5 moto wins, and then we're going to Washougal. So I don't know. I have a feeling that he's going to be very strong there for some reason.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like that. I like that KTM chassis on the harder, slicker dirt. I still believe at times that the steel chassis probably has some advantages on slippery tracks like that. I do think that the aluminum chassis have, the technology and just how far that they progressed and being compliant on hard, slippery tracks like that, and the different tire compounds that these riders are available to. I feel like aluminum chassis are much closer on the hard and slick pack stuff, but it's really hard to go against Chase Sexton ever, but especially with considering the conditions. But I'm hopeful that it's still going to be a good race. I mean, I like what Hunter Lawrence brings to the table on a hard, slick track like that. I just like how he doesn't override the bike a lot like Jay Coop. I think that he'll have a good chance to do well. But you know how it is. I mean, anything can happen. That's what's so crazy about moto, in my opinion, these days is, dude, you never know. Like, especially those guys from like third to sixth. I mean, you could argue all of these guys. Here's a rundown of the points right there. And listen, we're talking a lot about Chase RV, but dude, it ain't over for Hunter. I mean, 13 points.
13 points down. We got Chase Sexton with 310, Hunter with 13 down, and obviously jump down to Jay Coop with down 61. So yeah, we got a race. We have two horses in this race. It's Chase and Hunter. It's still very close. 13 points is still very close. There's a lot of motos left. Something to be said too. A lot of these riders, you brought up the scoop tire. They've been on the scoop tire for the last 3 or 4 weekends that they've all been running scoop, and they can promise you that they're not running the scoop this coming weekend at Washougal. We're going to go back to our traditional setup, for a rear tire. So that, not to say that's going to bring any, anything different to the table, but it definitely will be track completely different condition, texture of the dirt different. So they've been on this really deep, sandy, loamy, where they pick the scoop tire a lot for the start, but also for the track. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that plays into it, right? We're going back to more of a traditional outdoor setup, traditional tires, traditional shock and fork setting. Not that they change it a lot for some of these other races, but like Redbud, for example, Southwick, we might stiffen it up a little bit just because the braking bumps are so big. We have a lot of chatter and a lot of acceleration bumps, and the bumps don't get huge at Washougal. It just gets hard to see with the shadows, and traction's a massive issue. So, it'll be just interesting to see who can adapt the quickest on Saturday.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And again, as we looked at those points, and RV was saying, dude, only 13 points out. That is not a huge lead for Chase Sexton. So it's anybody's game for sure. And then there's a good race in points between Justin Cooper and Aaron Plessinger for that third spot in the championship. And remember, like, you got the SMX points too. So a lot a lot on the line for these guys to go into those playoffs with the highest seed. There's the SMX World Championship points. Good job, Hector, rolling it in there. The 450 combined class, Sexton, 56 points. Hunter Lawrence, 113. Anderson in fourth. So Cooper and Pless, they got quite a bit of work. So I like what Anderson, I like what he's got going on right there. So those guys will be going into the SMX playoffs in a pretty high seeded spot. So a lot on the line right there. That's it for our Boxo breakdown for the 450s. Remember, if you haven't checked out Boxo, go to boxousa.com. RV has a killer setup. I got a killer setup. They got great tools. Yep. Lifetime warranty, as you guys know, and their warranty process is super easy. So check them out. This next one, I know you've had a lot of high hopes, and I know everyone's chomping at the bit, I'm sure, to listen to what RV and I have to say about the Deegan and Hymas debate in the first corner debacle. That'll be in the Dunlop debate, but that is after the United Motorsports moment of the week, and that goes to no other than Levi Kitchen winning his first overall of the win. Just a fantastic ride, and it's amazing when you get good starts, both motos, and I do feel like he had some more aggression. Great job by Casey Cochran, by the way, on that Rockstar interview. Dude, he rode awesome. Pumped for him. And but dude, if you think about it, RV, you look back the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been running some really good races and had some great finishes. So is it a total surprise? Heck no, it's not. But this guy, your man, you said it time and time again. Actually, the last time I was on the show with you, you were saying that you had expected more from Levi, and there you go. Your man got it done this weekend.
Yeah, he did. He rode well. Obviously we had we had a rain delay, which also makes it very hard to, number one, you put yourself on pause, hit pause, stop the adrenaline, hit pause, get down to the line, you're waiting. They had a lightning delay for the track or for the racing. And then, that the downpour, obviously, so that's a very tough condition to go and ride when the base is kind of hard, then it gets greasy and slippery. But Casey Cochran was able to pull a great start that second moto. And I think he led all the way up until about 12 minutes to go, so quite a ways to into the second moto, which was awesome to see. He rode well. He had the speed. He's been building. So that's good to see, this kid was a Loretta's kid, Futures, a Columbine, so this is his rookie season for outdoors. So I think that's a huge confidence booster for him to know that, number one, he led a ton of laps, and, he put himself in a great position, and you can start to believe now, as a young racer like that, you can start to believe that you belong up there. So I think there's some good things to come in the future for him if he keeps this trajectory that he's on.
Yeah, I mean, again, go back to the last 3 weeks. It's just they've been quiet. He's been quietly doing really, really well. So I'm pumped. Good job, Casey. But Levi, that was a fantastic weekend for Levi in United Motorsports Moment of the Week. Putting himself in great spots and riding kind of like, I agree with you. Like, this is kind of what I expected of him all season long. So if I'm Levi, I'm feeling pretty good going into my home race, right? Coming off a dub. Looking at the circumstances, I know we're realists here. He had a little help winning this weekend, but it is what it is. And nonetheless, hopefully this will give him the confidence to basically can finish out the season like he started at Paula, I think.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Going to Levi's hometown race. So I'm hoping that play into his favor. It doesn't always play into your favor going to your hometown race, but I'm hoping that will, for his sake and put himself, that's the biggest thing, consistency with him. I think he's got the speed. He showed it early on in the season, and then he had some rough weekends. And then we just saw again here at Millville this last weekend with a 1-1 performance. That's what I expect. I expect that out of Levi, and I'm hoping that through from Washougal on to the next, I know points are pretty spread out right now with a couple of those bad weekends that he's had, or not stellar weekends. But to finish it out strong, same for the SMX points, and start looking for, I'm not saying the championship's out of reach, right? It's mathematically, roll
the points.
Hector, can we pull up the points real quick on that one, on the 250?
There you go.
Yeah, we got Haiden Deegan with 314, Levi with 51. So he's 51 points out. Mathematically, he's not out of it, but that's a lot of points to make up. But I think you're starting to finish this season out. You're looking to finish this season out, get as many wins or having the best performances you can have, so that you're setting yourself up for a great shot at SMX, and then straight into, obviously, next year for first round of Supercross, depending on, if you're East or West. Here we got the SMX World Championship points. We have Haiden Deegan with 482. Levi is only 24 down out of that. So that is, in my opinion, more of what he should be focusing on. Is the SMX World Championship, right? There's a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of bragging rights on the line. It sets you up right into going into the 2025 Supercross season. And, so yeah, I think that's kind of where his mentality should be, is try to do the best he can all the way out through here. If he gets in a position to win a championship, great. But if not, that SMX is another huge championship, in our series. So that'd be something that'd be really cool. That's what I'd be focusing on if I was Levi.
Yeah, I absolutely. And I think that, so long as he runs consistent, gets good starts, I think, and he'll go into that SMX number 2 seed, assuming Deegs finishes out strong. But Vial's nipping at his heels. Let me ask you this, though. Even though it's Levi's hometown race and he's going into his hometown, do you like this track for Tom Vial?
I do like this track for Tom Viel. It's, I would say, a little more Euro-ish, and why I say that is there's some very narrow parts on this track. The dirt consistency, just the technical side of Washougal because of the shadows, because of the dirt consistency, the tightness of some of the turns, how it funnels down in a few areas. Very much kind of like the Euro tracks, if you call it. I would say in the US, it's probably one of the closer ones to what he's raced in the past. So I'd be looking for some good things from Tom also. But once again, it comes on, no matter what track, where we're at and where we're at in the world, you got to put yourself in a great position off the start.
Yeah, you definitely, that's for sure. But then I go back to last year. I think this is where like Deegan went from, like, remember last year? Yeah, we talked about it. Is like he was going through, like, he hit one benchmark, then he made another huge advancement forward, and then I feel like when he got through this race and that incredible ride he did last year here, if my mind serves me right, that's when I feel like he kind of took it to the next level, if you will. And so, dude, if you're Deegs coming into this weekend, you should be feeling pretty damn good, right? Like, I mean, he had because of the incredible ride he had last year there.
Yeah, I think last year, he just kept going. He wasn't even in the lead, but he made it to the lead, and then he just kept dropping the hammer and pulling, a pretty substantial gap. So Haiden rode phenomenal there last year, and it'll be interesting to see if he can do that again this year, and what if he can put these guys on their heels like he's had them most of this outdoor season already.
Yep, it's going to be exciting. That's the United Motorsports moment of the week. And remember, go sign up at unitedmotorsports.com/title 24. You can see right there if you're watching. There it is at the bottom, unitedmotorsports.com/title 24. You get a $50 gift card, but that initial sign in, it's only one time only. You get a $15 credit. So check out United Motorsports. Appreciate it. And if you're around the Ohio, Kentucky area, go in-house. Check it out. Maybe you'll see Big Ray there. And he's a big old dude. Can't miss him. But he's like a big old teddy bear, though, at the same time. So that's it for United Motorsports. RV, I've been waiting, just absolutely waiting for this so we can dive into our analysis. And this has definitely been the talk of Pro Motocross Championship this week, certainly. And it has taken storm. I even saw like it was trending on X. And for the Dunlop debate, and the reason we're using this subject is because every move is debatable. And RV is going to give he is going to give his side of the token. I'll chime in a little bit, get all you keyboard warriors fired up. But it has to do with the 250 Moto 2 start with Chance Hymas, Haiden Deegan. We got a million, I wouldn't say a million, but several supporting shots to where we can make our case. And again, I think there's both ways. If you're a Haiden Deegan fan, you're going to look at it one way. If you're a Chance Hymas fan, you're going to look at it one way. But look at this shot right here. Walk us through it, RV.
Yeah, you got Haiden up on the inside here. I've got Chance right there crossing the line. And this isn't the best view, but you got Haiden up front, Chance up front, and then Haiden. Here we go. You see Chance start pushing the front wheel, and then we have another, like he dabs his foot. So we have a view from the inside also.
Octane.
Yep. Octane OC, I think, right here. So obviously we all heard we'll keep running these, Hector, by the way. I know obviously we all heard that Haiden had talked about Chance, cutting down. He's got a thing out for him.
Yeah, that
for him all season.
Yeah, that's the best view right there, in my opinion. Good job, Octane CO. I believe it's Octane CO. Great job. Check that dude out. Great footage there. Of what happened. And I think it shows Hymas like kind of pushing the front end, right? Here you go. Great shot right here too.
Right there.
Yep.
So yes, 100%. Does he cut down harder than than he was anticipating to potentially, but it wasn't because he tried to do that. I think he came into the first turn hot. We know that it rained prior to this. He starts pushing the front wheel. He dabs his foot right there, and it goes underneath of Hayden's front wheel. And yes, I heard the talk of, I think Chances got something out for me. He cut down too hard. I didn't like that. In my full opinion is this is a complete racing incident. That is just what happened in that first turn. I don't think Chance did anything wrong. Nor did Hayden. Chance got the front wheel starting to push right there. He dabs his foot. Hayden runs it over. And then obviously a result of that, Chance couldn't keep going. So, in that moto, he pulled into the pit area, in his race,
hurt himself,
hurt his ankle. We've heard X-rays are good. But MRI is the next thing on the list for his ankle. But yeah, I know that Hayden's like, oh man, he's got something out for me. And, I mean, Hayden, don't you have it out for everybody else? I mean, we've heard it probably 20 times already this season, but I will say, that was nobody's fault. That was a racing incident, in my opinion.
Hector, we got some sound from Deegs. Please roll that.
Out of nowhere, I see Chance just like cut over hard. I have to watch the replay back to see exactly how it was, but I think it could have went down a little safer. But I feel like Chance had a thing out for me all. I thought I had to start, and out of nowhere, I see Chance just like cut over hard. I have to watch the replay back to see exactly how it was, but I think it could have went down a little safer. But I feel like Chance had a thing out for me all season, trying to ride me a little dirty on the track. But I mean, hey, just know I'm freaking the king of getting dirty if I need to. But anyways.
I mean, like from his perspective, I'm trying to look at both sides of the token here. If I'm Chance Hymas or I'm Haiden Deegan, I mean, I've seen a lot gnarlier chops than that for sure. I mean, we go back to when you and I were going back and forth with Vince Freezy at Anaheim 1. To me, that was a gnarly chop, right? I'm with you. I don't think Chance did anything wrong for sure. I think he was washing his front end out. Go to the head-on shot, Hector, one more time, and you can see when Chance's outside leg.
Overhead shot.
Watch his outside leg right here. See how it goes there? The bike was sliding right there, and that's why his outside leg is going out like that, because he's like, oh crap, I'm going down. It pushes. He dabs his foot. The reason he dabs his foot, because the front end is sliding. So I don't, and listen, now I understand what Haiden is saying, and you know how this is, RV. Like, I'm not out there on the track and TV doesn't show everything. So maybe I'm sure there's been times where he's going to chop Haiden, and other riders are going to chop Haiden. I mean, I would do that to him. I know I'd do it.
Yeah.
I'd do it to the guy. I mean, dude, I'm not going to make it easy for you to get by. I'm not going to risk taking us both out. That's for sure. But I think I don't know.
Hector, if you run, let's run from the overhead view from the starting gate from behind. You got Hayden on the inside. You got Chance one away from the box. Hayden gets a great start. Same with Chance, but Hayden's a little bit inside, and he's got to let off a little bit. Chance had was more open to the turn, so he was able to hold it on a little bit deeper. So I don't see anything. That was like I said, a racing incident. Yeah, we can't see everything. But I feel like where Hayden lined up, he had to kind of check up a little bit as he came into that first turn, which, that half a second of throttle checkup versus Chance on the gas, that extra half a second, right, puts him up next to Hayden, and he had a little more open angle of the turn and was able to get up next to him. But that added speed that he came into the turn with made him start to push the front wheel. That's when he started dabbing. He dabbed his foot. Hayden ran it over. And I think, back to, he said Chances kind of had it out for him all year. It's tough to be, I guess from a spectator standpoint, what I'm looking at is you got Haiden over here talking, and he does a lot of talking, and some of it's really funny, and some of it, maybe some people are getting a little bit tired of it, or whatever the case may be. If you're these other racers that have a shot, Chance's won a moto, like he's got it, he's one of the top riders. That starts to probably get underneath your skin. So don't try to make enemies out of nothing. You know what I mean? And sometimes the more you run your mouth, depending on, the situation, guys are going to potentially maybe have it out for you a little more than they would if you were just kind of cruising under the radar. Now, I like the character. I like how, I like what Hayden's doing, but there's a time, there's a place, and there's a way how to do it. And once again, like I've said it before, shows ago, like he's young. He'll probably figure this out, or he will figure it out once he's a little bit older, a little more mature. That's my take on it.
It's going to be interesting to see how the referees, if you will, or the officials handle that situation. Cause he says, remember on his podium speech, he said Chance has got one coming. So it'll be interesting to see what they say, and if they reprimand him, and hey, no, don't take any shots at this guy. If you do, you're going to be penalized. I think that Haiden doesn't care, and he's going to do what he wants to do. But it's exciting to watch. I know he's getting beat up a lot on social media. Some guys love it. Some guys hate it. I think it makes for great TV. And at the end of the day, dude, the guy's backing it up. It's not,
that is the biggest thing, Ricky, right there. He's backing up what he's dishing out. You can't dish it out if you can't back it up. It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I agree. Like, I mean, and listen, dude, me and you are sitting here, we're old and retired, but we can speak with experience. Like, definitely I'd rather have more friends than not. At the 450 level is where I feel like it really helps. And the reason that it helps is because someday you're going to need a favor from guys coming through, or whether it's lappers, whether you're in 5th place trying to get to 1st place, and the guy that you're trying to pass in 5th, he knows that he's not going to the front, and he knows you are. He might lay up for you a little bit more, and that's where I feel like, keeping the peace between everyone goes a long way. Do I have a problem with it?
It's interesting that you say that, and for the fans that are listening, it's exactly what Ricky just said. If you're pretty cordial to everybody, and you're in a position that you don't have the greatest of starts, and you're coming, say, from 8th up to 3rd, 2nd, whatever that is, how many positions you can move forward, is you start getting into 5, 6, 7 laps into a race, and you got the guy that's running 5th or whatever. He knows what he's capable of, right? He knows his fitness, how long, what the temperature is outside. Meaning, like, if he looks over and he's got Haiden Deegan next to him, he's got Ryan Villopoto, and he knows that, like, dude, all I need to do is focus on myself so I can sit in this 5th position for hopefully the entire race. He's going to look over, he's going to take that spot from me, right? And why that is, but if you're running, if you're, creating enemies, or, maybe not even enemies, but just somebody looks up and they don't like the smart ass comments that come out. They're like, I'm going to give this guy an elbow, dude. Like, I'm not, maybe the dude in front of him is his buddy, and he looks over and he goes, he's got no beef with you, but he's like, I'm not letting this guy by. So having, like you said, 450, even in the 250 class, having friends is the wrong word, but just having, what would you call that? What would be the right?
Yeah, where they just don't go out of your way to, not even an enemy, just a guy that just doesn't like you, like, I'm gonna make life harder because I don't like the way that.
And it totally happens, guys. Listeners, it totally happens. I mean, I've pulled up to guys one weekend and it's like, here you go, take the line. I'm just managing where I'm at. Or it's like I pull up next to, it always happens the first 3 or 4 rounds. Everybody's full of piss and vinegar, and they're all trying to establish the pecking order. And if you get a bad start, Anaheim 1, the second Supercross race, whatever it is, Anaheim 2, whatever it is. And once we
I guess
there you go. It's recording. Recording resumed.
All right. I wish I knew when it stopped. But,
I'm not
that's
sure
okay because you
when
guys.
that happened, but there's a
I don't
button
know.
right next to end recording where you can pause it. I don't know. So I think that's what happened.
Oh, and do we know when that happened?
No, I
wasn't
mean,
anywhere
listen,
near
I
up
looked
there.
I looked at it like right towards the end, and it was like 42 minutes. You know what I mean? So like it
Okay.
wasn't paused
minutes.
long.
So
All right,
3
so
minutes-ish.
sorry about that. I don't even know. Yeah, so let's just keep going as if
Yeah, because
you're-
Yeah, we'll
pick
have
it
to
up.
cut it and
yeah.
whatever.
So
pick it
let's
up.
just sort of
I'm about to switch gears here, anyways, because we got about
exactly.
15 minutes left. So
All right.
we got to get into our quad lock question.
All
Ready?
right.
All right.
Sorry about that. All right, thanks. Let me get out.
Yep. Watch that pause button.
All right. So
okay, we're back. We had a little glitch in the system, but dude, it is what it is. The older we get, I feel like we don't want to spend any energy on that. At least that's how I was. I'm like, it ain't even worth it anymore. But nevertheless, it's fun to watch. It makes great TV. And like you've said a million times, and I'm going to back you 100%, the dude is backing it up. So all you people and all these people who don't like it, if you don't like it, go out and do something about it. Like I'm talking about the racers, and go win. Go beat the guy. It's gonna be tough. You know what I mean? And the people, the keyboard warriors and people at home, if you don't like it, you better learn to love it, because I don't think that kind of attitude, right? I don't think that's going away for at least the next couple of years, I would say.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. And it's bringing something. Now, one thing we all got to remember, it's bringing something new. Not everybody likes, new and change and things like that. So, that's our rant right there, boys.
Yeah, Dunlop debate. On the other side of the token, talking about Dunlop. So I was doing a little research, and so I don't know if you know this, and maybe I don't even know if we've talked about this outside of the pod or on the pod, but I've never even ridden with a scoop tire. So I don't even know how well and how good the advantages are in a straight line on the start. But what I have heard is that Dunlop has done a great job at working on side grip with that tire, because that, like you've said multiple times on this show, that you have to be willing to know where you're going to gain and where you're going to lose from that tire. And for you, back in the day, you said side grip absolutely sucked with that thing. So you knew that you couldn't lean coming out of corners, going up jump faces at an angle, all that stuff. But I did hear that Dunlop has done a great job at giving these guys a little more side bite. Now, again, full disclaimer, I haven't ridden with it. I have no idea how much improvement they made on side grip, but so I'd be interested to at least try one.
I can tell you this. I think it's a bit of bike setup too. I think bike setup's improved with this call it the scoop tire. We used to run the scoop. I believe it was called an MX-11, Dunlop MX-11. Now this is 8, 9, 10 years ago ish, and it was great in a straight line, but I couldn't stand the tire on a lean. Part of it is a lot of feedback through the tire. It didn't have any side grip, very inconsistent on the side also. But now, like I said, 8, 9, 10 years ago, I see these guys choosing to run this tire. It's not only for the start, but clearly it's gotten substantially better, because there wasn't a question back in the day where you would run it. You would run it at Southwick, and it was pretty much Southwick only, maybe first practices, depending on red bud and things like that. But by first and by for sure second moto, it was parked underneath the tent. We didn't have it. So I know that the guys over at Dunlop have made some huge improvements. I mean, and along with the motorcycle too, getting the chassis, suspension, and motorcycle set up to run the scoop. And they run it so much more today. They have so much more data and information on things to change and how to make the bike better by running the scoop. Like I had said, we only pretty much run it one time a year, and that was Southwick. So we didn't have a ton of data. We didn't run it very often. So it was kind of foreign. It was like the easy way I can put it is to be like running. You grew up running tear-offs, and all of a sudden you got to twice a year you got to put your roll-offs on, and you're like, God, how am I supposed to ride with these things with this little strip? Right? So you're so caught off guard, and that's kind of how it was back for us, or for me anyways. Now I see it being it's been implemented in a much more different style and conditions than it was when I was racing.
I got it. Sweet. All right. Guess what? Second year in running, quad lock question of the week. And I like this. I'm pumped for this week's quad lock question of the week, something a little bit different, and it'll give a great opportunity for RV and I to share our perspective. And Hector, our producer of the show today, he really liked this one. So Hector, shout out for you for picking this, because we had so many good ones. A lot of them were about Deegs. We covered that. So and there were a lot of the same questions. So that's why no one regarding Deegan Hymas situation got the quad lock question of the week. So the winner is Haiden Olson. Haiden, congratulations. You're the quad lock question of the week winner. You know what to do. Slide in Title 24 DM. JH will send you on to quad lock, and quad lock will get you stoked out. Maybe if you have a day job, get you a desk mount right here. That's pretty handy. I have it on my bedside table. Kind of nice, charges, and it's a nice mount. So let's see here. Haiden Olson, what is your favorite aspect of the sport now after having been a part of it yourself from the other side of the bars? That's a good one. RV, take it. What's your favorite part about the sport since you're not racing? What do you love about SMX?
Well, I just, that's everything, so for me, for the sport from in general, like I just got back from Budds Creek, right? So from the professional racing standpoint, look, I love to watch the racing and jump on Title 24 with URC and be able to, talk about it and really dissect it. But as a whole, from the motorsports, motorcycle industry, I've been in this industry now since, I started racing at 5 years old and it's never stopped. Right. And the friends and people you call family now, like, you've had 20, friends for 20 years now, and the people you meet. And I just got to spend time with out of Budds Creek with the whole Yamaha crew and bringing in a bunch of these racers and really kind of getting back to the grassroots. That was a question kind of this weekend. Well, what do you like? I'm like, well, I get to come back to Budds Creek and not on a national weekend, because I told John Beasley, I'm like, he goes, oh, you go down to see this? And I said, honestly, I've never drove around Budds Creek ever. I've shown up, raced, and left. So I get to go back to these places and, essentially camp like I used to out of a motorhome. We had Yamaha rents us trailers. So I really get the whole experience at an amateur level. And I think that's kind of like, for me, grassroots. That's my favorite part of the sport in the industry. Meeting all the new people in my position now, going back to tracks and places that I either haven't been and haven't experienced, riding or racing there, or going back to something that I did when I was professional, but now I have a total different view, and get to experience different things by being in my position as a retired racer, and being able to go to these places and experience having these different experiences all across the world. So I think that's, for me, probably the coolest part about my position is, yes, what I did was really awesome, but there wasn't a lot of time for anything other than racing. Now I'm building in and going back to these places and being able to spend the time and see all the cool things, and why people love motocross and supercross is really where I'm at now, in the grassroots of it. So that's what I like about it.
That's awesome. Like, getting to relive moments, like you said, and being around people, not having any pressure of racing and performing, and seeing these beautiful tracks and places that we get to go to because of how well we did in motorcycle racing, and share these experiences with our friends and sometimes opportunities when we're allowed to when we have the opportunity to bring our family, and get these moments, and really building memories that will last for a lifetime, RV. And that's what I love about the position that I'm in now, is I get to do what I do with you here on Title 24, share our experiences, share our knowledge. But then I'm also I love being around old sponsors and friends that we spent our life with. Like outside of bloodlines, they're our extended family. I mean, we're traveling, 30 weekends a year I've been doing it since I was 17 years old, whether it was in 2 wheels, 4 wheels for a couple of years, now back into 2. And there are people that I love, I cherish the relationships. And like you said, creating memories that you'll bring with you that will last forever. And being able to share those with people that think that we are great at what we did and making a great impression on people. That's what I like about it. And that's really outside of racing. But what I love about being on this side of the handlebars and not racing is watching these guys. There's not one guy in that field that I don't have a lot of respect for. Number one, for what they can do on their motorcycles. I think they're incredible athletes, some of the best in the world, especially for the risk that they take. No doubt. I like them all. Am I critical of them sometimes? Of course I am. But I have a tremendous amount of respect. And I love just watching how gnarly they are on dirt bikes. I really, really, really do.
I will tell you this, it puts it into perspective, because when you're in it, when you're racing, and you're at the top of your game, like me and you were, it's second nature to do what we did. But I promise you, I don't know if it's an age thing, but the older you get, and maybe it's just getting on the bike at this, when we don't ride anymore very often, and it's like, holy cow, to see and to watch what they're jumping and the speeds that they're going through the ruts. I question, did I do that? I'm like, dude, that's gnarly. I'm like,
I know,
but it was second nature to us, right? So I think in our position, you really can look back and really appreciate what they're doing, because we were both there. But then all of a sudden now I'm going to be 36 and I'm like, dude, I question, like, how is it possible? But I was one of those guys only 8 years ago.
Dude, gnarly. It definitely puts in perspective, dude, the progression of the sport. I go back to this is super embarrassing. Like my first Supercross win, number one, what just the landscape of the track looked like at Atlanta Supercross, and how much the track and the track appearance has grown, how fast these bikes are, how fast every one of these riders are. Dude, I watched my first win and it looks like I was a turtle out there compared to the guy, right? And the bikes were certainly much slower, but the jumps seemed so massive back then. And now I look at them, I'm like, dude, I look like a beginner out there. But so the progression has been cool. That's what I love about it. Now with the playoffs, and then the streaming package with Peacock and NBC, and the opportunities that the riders have, and the availability to watch them ride basically live, not have to wait 2 weeks later. That's what I like about it. Again, these are our extended family. And it's fun to share times with those people and those folks, and not have the pressure of going out and perform it. I can actually enjoy my time with my friends and extended family. So that's what I love. That's what I like about being on this side of the bars, RV, just like me and you, brother. We're the same. So great job. Great question, Haiden. Again, slide into the Title 24 DM on Instagram if JH hasn't already reached out to you. We appreciate you, and go check out quadlockcase.com if you haven't. They got a whole bunch of stuff, and we appreciate you guys for Quadlock. Preview, we talked about a little bit. You talked about Washougal, Pacific Northwest. I love that place, dude. The scenery is phenomenal. Now, I haven't been back there, dude. The last time I was there was 2006, so 18 years. I haven't been back in 18 years, so I don't know if much has changed. I hope that it hasn't. Like the ride out there, is it still a 2-lane river road there, or what?
Still a two-lane river road. Track is pretty much the same of when me and you raced it. They did some facility upgrades, and there's some really cool decks now that you'll see up all on the hillside and things like that. So from a spectator standpoint, it's probably changed the most for the spectators. Track, for example, I actually did the 2025 YZ photo
Mhm.
shoot up there. So I got to ride the track, and
Mhm.
from what I from what I rode and got to feel is potentially that the dirt seems a little bit better. I think that maybe they've mixed some stuff in. So that being said, hopefully we get some weather, meaning some warmer weather up that way, so that that's another another aspect that the riders have to deal with. Just because the track doesn't get super ruddy, doesn't get super rough, right? So if you add some weather into that, that makes it a little more interesting.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. I'm looking for one other thing I always loved about going Pacific Northwest, and they don't really get many professional races up there outside of Washougal and Seattle Supercross. The fans there are super core, extremely polite. I always love going up there and racing there because of that. The fans are just super generous and just nice, down to earth people. So
That's how
I'm
we are,
looking.
RC. That's how we are.
Yeah, I know. I know you guys. You guys are nice. There's no doubt about that. Can drink a lot of beverages too. That is for that's for sure. Before we say goodbye, I'm gonna tell you what's on Motorsports on NBC. Hector, throw that graphic up. There you go. Motorsports on NBC, as you guys know, 2 p.m. Eastern, in SMX Insider with Weege and JT. Check that out on their YouTube page. And then Saturday, we start 12 p.m. Eastern, race day live, qualifying. That'll be live on Peacock. I watched it last week. That is awesome. 3 p.m. Eastern, Pro Motocross simulcast on Peacock and NBC Washougal. So we will be live on NBC. That's 3 p.m. Eastern. Then 3 p.m. Eastern, the NASCAR Xfinity is at Indy. That'll be on USA Network. And then Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, the Cup Series is at Indy. That'll be live on NBC. And then the NTT IndyCar Series in Toronto will be live on Peacock, the streets of Toronto. So make sure you check that out. But a lot of racing action for sure. Again, we'll be on NBC this week. So another great opportunity for Motocross Championship and SMX World Championship to be on the big network. So looking forward to that. On behalf of, well, first of all, before I do our parting shot, I had a good time, RV. I'm glad that I'm back in the studio and lifting the burden from you. I appreciate you filling in. I feel like a
Where's
complete
buddy?
idiot. I feel like I've kind of dropped the ball. So like, I hate not feeling like I'm not doing my part, and you've done a great
It's
job.
gonna happen. It's gonna tables will flip here soon. One day or another, I'll be busy, and you'll be picking up the slack
That-
again
that-
too. So
That's
what's
why it
great
works.
about both of us being retired and kind of having the schedules we are. If I need to do the heavy lifting, great. If you do,
That's right.
you do it.
I will say though, again, before we let everyone go, thank you for listening today. But it's been tough when the results are kind of the same in the Pro Motocross Championship. Got a couple guys wounded. It's a little different way we're kind of approaching the pod and trying to do some different things. So keep those questions coming in, and we'll keep answering them for you. We appreciate all the support. As for myself and RV, thanks to United Motorsports, Quad Lock, Boxo, and Dunlop, you guys are fantastic. Remember, we're on Motorsports and NBC's YouTube page. You can always check us out there. We're also live on Peacock. So you can check us out also there if you are trying to watch Title 24. If you're not able to watch and you just want to do the audio version of Title 24 podcasts, or on all your favorite podcast applications across the board. So you won't have to search too hard to find us there. But again, been great to be back in the studio with my man RV, and we appreciate everyone for checking us out on Title 24, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Hi, folks. Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.